Hey everyone, today I'm going to go over the changes to racials in Cataclysm. Let's start off with the two new races, Goblins for Horde and Worgens for Alliance. Goblins can be any class except Druid or Paladin, and they'll start off in a brand new starting zone called Kazan. They get 6 racial traits. Best Deals Anywhere causes you to always get the best possible reputation discount with any faction, regardless of your reputation. Better Living Through Chemistry gives a plus 15 alchemy skill bonus. Pack Hobgoblin summons an NPC that allows you to access your bank for 1 minute and it has a 30-minute cooldown. Rocket Jump will propel you forward and has a 2-minute cooldown. This is a great ability that has tons of uses in both PvE and PvP. Note that slowfall effects cannot be used within 10 seconds of this ability. Rocket Barrage fires a rocket at the target and has a 30-yard range and a 2-minute cooldown. It has a shared cooldown with Rocket Jump and it's on the GCD, so it's not used too often. The final Goblin racial trait is Time is Money, which gives a plus 1% attack and cast speed bonus. The combination of this 1% haste passive and the great on-use Rocket Jump makes Goblin one of the better races in Kata. Worgens are the new race for Alliance. They can be any class except Paladin or Shaman, and they start in the new Gilneas starting zone. Like Goblins, they also get a bunch of racials. 2 forms allows you to swap between a Worgen and human appearance. Running Wild is a mount replacement. Inspiration will give plus 1 shadow and nature resist per level. This only stacks with personal resist buffs like Mage Armor. It will not stack with group resist buffs like Resistance Totem or Gift of the Wild. Flayer gives plus 15 skinning and also allows you to skin mobs faster. Dark Flight gives a plus 40% movement speed bonus for 10 seconds on a 2-minute cooldown. There are tons of uses for this in both PvE and PvP. Viciousness gives plus 1% crit passively. The combination of a strong mobility on use and a combat passive makes Worgen a top choice for Alliance. Now let's look at changes to other races. I'll go over Horde first and then Alliance. Orcs can now be mages. Axe specialization has been reduced to plus 3 expertise from plus 5. The Shaman version of Blood Fury now gives spell power instead of spell damage, which is nice for resto shamans. Blood Elves can now be warriors. Magic resistance has been changed to arcane resistance. It gives plus 1 arcane resist per level, capping at plus 85 at max level. It only stacks with personal resist buffs, not group ones. There are 2 new versions of Arcane Torrent for warriors and hunters that give rage and focus. Undead can now be hunters. Cannibalize regenerates 7% mana per tick in addition to health. Shadow Resistance now gives plus 1 Shadow Resist per level, capping at plus 85 at max level. It only stacks with personal resist buffs, not group ones. Will of the Forsaken has had its shared cooldown with similar effects reduced from 45 seconds to 30 seconds. Tauren can now be priests and paladins. Cultivation now significantly reduces the time it takes to pick an herb, in addition to the plus 15 herbalism bonus. Nature Resistance now gives plus 1 nature resist per level, capping at plus 85 at max level. It only stacks with personal resistance buffs, not group ones. Trolls can now be druids and warlocks, and they finally get their own starting area on the Echo Isles. There are no changes to troll racials, they remain incredibly good. Berserking is still amazing, and Kata has plenty of bosses with burn phases that makes Berserking even better. There will even be some opportunities in raids to benefit from the plus 5% damage versus beasts. Now let's look at Alliance. Draenei are the only race that doesn't get a new class option. Heroic Presence is now a personal buff and no longer increases hit chance of your group. Gift of the Naru no longer scales with attack power or spell power. It heals for 20% of the target's HP. Gem Cutting has been increased to plus 10 jewel crafting skill from plus 5. Shadow Resistance now gives plus 1 shadow resist per level, capping at plus 85 at max level. It only stacks with personal resist buffs, not group ones. Dwarves can now be mages, warlocks, and shamans. Mace specialization has been reduced from plus 5 expertise to plus 3. Frost Resistance now gives plus 1 frost resist per level, capping at plus 85 at max level. It only stacks with personal resist buffs, not group ones. Stoneform now reduces all damage taken by 10% instead of increasing armor by 10%. Dwarf was already a great race for tanks, but this just makes them even better. Find Treasure has been replaced by Explorer, which causes you to find additional fragments from archaeology and allows you to survey faster. Night Elves can now be mages. Shadow Meld can be used while shapeshifted. Nature Resistance now gives plus 1 nature resist per level, capping at plus 85. It stacks with personal resist buffs, but not group ones. Elusiveness no longer reduces your chance to be detected in stealth, but now gives a plus 5% movement speed increase while stealthed. Gnomes can now be priests, and they get a new starting area at Gnomergon. Expansive Mind increases total mana by 5% instead of intellect. Arcane Resistance now increases Arcane Resist by plus 1 per level, capping at plus 85. It only stacks with personal resist buffs, not group ones. Escape Artist has had its cooldown reduced from 1 minute 45 seconds to 1 minute 30 seconds. It's now possible to use it without a slow or immobilize currently on you, which will waste it. Humans can now be hunters. Perception has been removed from the game. It used to give a passive stealth detection bonus. All healers now use Spirit as their main mana regen stat, so human pallies get a solid benefit from the human spirit now. Humans still have Will to Survive, which makes them the top option for PvP. That should cover all the racial changes in Cataclysm. If you want to support me, you can help me out by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.